everyone, and thank you for joining us at Schubel Vision Seminars. My name is Dr. Liam Schubel, otherwise known as the Schubel Dr. Of course, with me, Dr. Frankie Hahn,
Hello.
the spinal screening ninja, and we have with us today a special guest, Dr. Jonathan. He is with us from Europe, specifically from the south of England. Is that correct, Jonathan?
That's right. Down in deepest, darkest Cornwall.
Cornwall, that's correct. Saltash, he's a graduate of AECC, sitting on the Students' Union for 4 years. Dr. John has been in practice for 10 years. The first 3 years were spent in a multidisciplinary practice in the southwest of England before opening his own practice, as he mentioned, 2008, Saltash, Cornwall. Currently a sole practitioner in a vitalistic open-plan practice, he sees in excess of 250 patients a week, focusing on families and children, but is looking forward to taking on new associates this year to better serve the community. Wow, making a bigger impact. He's a vocal proponent for principled and inclusive chiropractic in the 21st century. Currently sits on the executive board of the United Chiropractic Association, one of my favorite chiropractic associations in the world. And he's a fledgling speaker, both nationally and internationally, at chiropractic colleges, conferences, and he is just a great all-together guy. We call him one of our ambassadors of fun. When he shows up to an event, it is definitely going to be more fun. Welcome to the call, Dr. Jonathan.
Thank you very much, Liam and Frank. Thank you.
Dr. Jonathan, we're going to be coming up here talking about some Schubel Vision seminars. And of course, the Schubel Vision seminar that we have coming up is going to be May 6th and 7th. 2016 in Amsterdam. Of course, we do these Schubel Vision seminars around the world, and I know that you had the opportunity to attend one last year. I believe it was Schubel Vision in Barcelona. I wanted to kind of pick your brain today, so the folks that are watching this, as to some of the reasons they might be attending a Schubel Vision seminar, and specifically, I want to get inside your head as to what you were thinking when you first heard of Schubel Vision. What was the thought process that you had, maybe some doubts that you had in your mind about coming to Schubel Vision, and why did you end up deciding, yes, I'm going to pull the trigger, I'm going to see this guy, Dr. Schubel, in Barcelona, and see what they have to offer?
Fair enough. Well, straight off the bat, there is always there's Schubel, the man, the myth, and the legend. And not all of them have their positive aspects. There's a two-way approach to looking at the Schubel Vision, the company, as well as Schubel Vision, the person. I had been attending a number of different conferences in lots of different places, and you get to hear rumblings of Schubel, the person, and what you stand for, what IUFCO stands for, and I've always been a stout proponent of always hear it from the horse's mouth, because there's always, in every profession, there's always people who think one way about someone, think other ways about other people, and I don't think it's fair to base your opinion on other people's opinions. So I kind of came out of morbid curiosity more than anything else. Find out what it's all about and hear from the person themselves. I think it would be fair to say that there's the international persona, the international man of mystery that is Schubel, and then there is the person that comes to the conferences, and there is the person who shares the message. Now, one is the exuberant, high energy, full-on, in-your-face internet persona, and one is the genuinely caring, wants to share a message, wants people to do well, wants people to succeed, that you meet in person. And both I like, and both are a great representation of chiropractic across the world. So when I actually attended the conference, I learned very quickly that the internet persona is there to let people know, to get people there, but then when you get there, you meet the actual person that really does want to share a wealth of knowledge with colleagues and friends. I think there's no finer attribute than seeing someone stand on a stage with friends they went to school with, and share their journey together with people in the audience. I think as someone sat in the audience, there is a genuine a genuine feeling of camaraderie between you guys on the stage. You know you've been through the thick and thin of it. You've started off and you've had your peaks and troughs in practice. And it's nice to see the bond that's forged and has developed into creating something that really does help build on the participants' ability to grow and nourish their own practices off your experiences.
Yeah, you know, Dr. Jonathan, thank you for those kind words. One of the things that I have noticed in the chiropractic profession, and by the way, this is worldwide, when somebody starts to achieve a certain level of success, there are plenty of people around that will start to throw stones at that person, and they're a very clear target on their back. And so many times, what saddens me, I could take the flack, I could take the insults. I'm from New York, New Jersey. You know, we're very rough. All my neighbors are mobsters, so I can handle the insults and the jabs and things like that. What sickens me and saddens me many times, as you're stating, is that there are people that prejudge me or Schubel Vision or what it's about, and as a result, they miss out on opportunities really to learn tips, tools, and strategies that can create a bigger impact in the communities that they serve. And so, you know, as B.J. Palmer said, you never know how far-reaching something you think, say, or do today will affect the lives of millions tomorrow. You know, we're talking about billions of people on the planet, and we have success strategies that whether you're in your first chiropractic office or it sounds like now you're looking to hire on associates, you know, or your 19th chiropractic or 20th. We're opening up our 20th chiropractic office in June. You need to have the systems down. You need to have the communication strategies down. You need to have the mindset preparation in order to step up and serve on a bigger level. And I applaud you for taking that step last year. And I know that you've had some really great experiences in your office since attending Schubel Vision. I want to get to those a little bit later, but before we get into that, I'd like you to share a little bit, if you would. So maybe I've never been to a chiropractic seminar, or I have been to some chiropractic seminars, and I know that I've been pretty much at every chiropractic seminar in the world, Jonathan, and on most places I've been center stage. I can honestly tell you that Schubel Vision is unlike any other seminar that is on the planet with the energy and with the information that we share. But I'd like to kind of get your aspect of, you walk into Schubel Vision, again, you had these preconceived notions. Now, what is that experience like on day one and then on day two? And explain to, like, when you walk in at the beginning and then how it ends in the very end.
The very beginning, I think the nicest touch that brought everyone together was the candle lighting. It was an immediate bonding experience for everybody that was there. Again, when I came to see you guys in Barcelona, I was in a room with a majority of people I knew or had met, certainly at other events, which is always a pleasure when you're in chiropractic. You always go to places and meet people or see people you know. But I think there was a level of anticipation that we were going to be learning practical, applicable stuff straight off the bat. And like I said earlier, the energy between the three of you there really sparked within all of us the knowledge that this was going to be a great learning experience over the weekend. As we went along, there was a fantastic variety of information. There was definitely stuff that could be put into effect immediately, covering all different aspects, from the communication through to the attraction of new patients through to the retaining of the people you had. But when we came to the end, I think when I walked away, there was definitely a sense of a real connection with the people that were there, and a real knowledge that this was stuff that I could immediately apply and knew without a shadow of a doubt was going to make a massive impact, both on me personally, but also on our community, because I knew I could immediately do things that would make a massive difference and a big shift within my practice, which is exactly what happened.
Yeah, you know, Jonathan, one of the things that many of the attendees say to me is, you know, Dr. Schubel, you're the first person that's actually not just brought about the practical application of the philosophy of chiropractic, or, you know, the successful business systems and components of communication in the practice, but you're also talking about mindset. And you know, so many people told me, we have the procedures, but we don't have the why behind those procedures. And when you combine the why with the how, and both of those are strong, wow, I go back into practice now, and I'm absolutely certain and spizzed up and excited about what I'm doing. So now I have the excitement component and the passion and the understanding and the certainty, but I can also then come to the table with these real-world practical application tools or strategies or systems. And that's one of the things that we try to do, especially if you're starting out your practice, is develop it right from the beginning with systems that are going to allow you later to bring on associates and expand in the future and have a greater impact in your community or your country or wherever you're at, or multiple countries in my case. The idea that with all that put together, you're starting out correctly. The idea is not to reinvent the wheel. As Tony Robbins says, you success leaves clues. You want to take the information from people that are doing it successfully, as Dr. Hahn does, the spinal screening ninja. He will show you, and he'll take you through step by step by step. Here is point A to point B to point C, and all the detail in between. But what Frank always starts out, which I love, is the why behind all this, and that shift in the energy of the room during the course of the weekend, Jonathan. You talk about everybody connects at the end, and you feel like you kind of have this family going on. And I think the reason why is because we set off the tone for the weekend of, in order to make a big impact, you have to have a bigger vision. And you have to have a bigger understanding of how big this big idea of chiropractic is, and how crucial each of us are as a component to the transformation of evolution of the planet as we know it with chiropractic. And so I guess to the folks that are watching this that may have not attended any seminars, a lot of times the concern is, oh, I'm not going to know anybody there. Well, let me tell you, by the end of that weekend, you're not only going to know everybody there, but you're going to feel like, great, we are a team that is going to take chiropractic to the world with the tools now that we've been given, and we have the excitement, the passion, the certainty, and the understanding in order to do so.
Liam, let me jump in right there. One of the things that I really loved, and I saw this right as soon as I met with Jonathan also, Schubel Vision is a very much of a learning experience. You're going there to learn some skills, skill sets to implement in your practice. But there was one special moment that I recall. It was maybe like 2 in the morning, and now I couldn't sleep. So I was down there. I went downstairs. I saw Jonathan with students from, I forget which chiropractic college it was, and he was sharing his knowledge with them to help bring them up to where he's at. And now Jonathan's expecting us to bring up to another level. And that's what I really love about not only Schubel Vision but the profession itself. It's no one really left behind. So everyone has a learning opportunity at Schubel Vision. And I really like that, Jonathan. And I didn't even expect that or see it. I just happened to run into it, and I saw you there downstairs talking with the students. I really like that about you, Jonathan.
Well, thank you. I think what's great about Schubel Vision, again, is what you've just said there, is that many other conferences we go to, there is that element of, we're here to connect with people, we're here to listen to people, get spizzed up, and yes, we will learn some tools and some things that we can apply when we get home, but for some of the conferences, they are a British term, I suppose, is a jolly. Go and have a great time together, share bonds, reconnect bonds, get yourself all kind of joyed up again and come back into practice. Schubel Vision was much more an event where you go, you learn stuff, you go to learn stuff, you come away from learning stuff, and you apply stuff straight away. Although it was a wonderful experience and we shared and created bonds, it was educational from the get-go. There was no fluffy stuff straight away. It was like, here we are, this is what we're going to do, this is what we're going to achieve, you're going to go home and you're going to make something of yourselves. And like you said, being able to go away at the end knowing, and we've kept in contact, a few of us that were at that Barcelona one, and we use a accountability group format now to keep check on each other, checks and stops, and making sure that if we haven't achieved something, why we haven't achieved something, moving forward, building and getting ourselves further and further ahead. And that's something that came from being at such an intimate group of people that really wanted to all work together to achieve a greater goal. And I think that's something you don't necessarily achieve in the big 600, 700 attendee conferences, but you do when you're in a group together, really wanting to strive and improve your practice. And that's certainly something I got from Schubel Vision that I haven't got elsewhere.
Well, yeah, it's a very intimate and committed group, and committed to success on all levels, Jonathan. And I know the folks that are watching this are looking at yourself, myself, and Frank, and saying, "Gosh, those guys are timeless. You know, how could they be so good looking?" And you know, it seems like they don't age at all. But the fact of the matter is, and I say that, of course, jokingly, the fact of the matter is, we really do have a short period of time on this planet. And so the question that I ask myself all the time is, what can I do with the blessings that I've been given while I'm here to make the greatest amount of impact? And I think that is one of the reasons, Jonathan, that we go right to the chase. I mean, when you get there, it's, okay, let's get down to brass tacks, let's get to business, and the business is going to impact people's lives. The business that we're in is the business of optimizing human potential, and that's what's exciting, and that's what's so passionate. That's what drives my passion is, gosh, we get paid as chiropractors to love people and to optimize their human expression on the planet. To me, there is no greater gig. But sadly, I see so many doctors of chiropractic suffering because either they haven't learned these things in school, or maybe they went to some seminars that have made them feel really good about maybe themselves, which is important. I think that's a great thing, that people go and they get spizzed up at seminars and they build a camaraderie. I think that's also very important. But one of the things that we try to do a little bit differently is that in addition to have that component of the seminar, we really want to give you tools that you can go in on Monday and start producing that impact. Because those numbers that you see, you know, that 250 a week that you see, Jonathan, I'm not seeing dollar signs, pound signs, euro signs. What I'm seeing is human expression optimized, and that's what I see. That's what those numbers signify to me. And so if I could teach those skills and tools that we have from experience, why wouldn't I do that as much as I can? And that's why we're trying to get as many people as we can to start attending these Schubel Vision seminars around the world, because I think that's going to be what is going to make the shift. So many doctors of chiropractic want to be successful, but they don't have the strategies that they need to be successful. And speaking of those strategies, Jonathan, could you share with us some of the specific things that you learned at Schubel Vision that then you went and you applied in your practice, and what were the results to that application, those applications?
Well, the easiest one and the most obvious one would be Screening Ninja Frank Hahn. After coming back, well, before going, had someone said to me, you can go to a screening event and you can book in 100, 120, 150 people from one afternoon, I would have thought they were crazy. I thought they would have been embellishing beyond belief, and it was all a nice little ploy to drag you along to a conference. Then when Frank went through everything, Dr. Frank went through everything and explained the most simplest and most honest and most truthful of explanations that he does for how he runs his screening events, I sat there in amazement. I was sitting there thinking, I cannot wait to put this into practice when I get home. And then after having done scheduling events in the past and feeling successful, having booked in 12 or 14 people, coming back from the first one, employing the method taught by Dr. Frank, 69 people booked in, and having that basically double when they brought their families and partners and everyone else along to the events, and then 2 weeks later doing another one and getting 62 people booked in. Apart from the fear of when was I going to see these people and how am I going to create the new patient visits to see these people, it just changed the shift, because as you said, I think that for me was my greatest shift in certainty. Because I came back from Schubel Vision knowing that I knew what I knew, and then having that experience and putting it into practice and something so honest and genuine, sharing that message in a tent in the middle of a field in a farmyard show, to have this number of people suddenly coming in, bringing their family, bringing their children to get checked, it just reinforced beyond measure that level of certainty I had in what I do. And like you said just now, it's not about the numbers, it's not about the dollar signs or over here the pound signs. It is just that knowledge that you are beginning to make an impact on your community, and knowing that with every cell in your body that you're sharing something far greater than yourself and even the profession. It's just, we are so privileged, and therefore being able to apply something that was learned in Barcelona, apply it a few weeks later when you get home and see that dynamic shift in your practice, who wouldn't want that?
Yeah, well, you know, Dr. Jonathan, you know, and congratulations on your success in the application of those principles and strategies that you learned at Schubel Vision, because there are some people that learn things at a seminar and then don't go home and apply them, and so you actually took the next step and made the application. But you know, one of the things that I would say about folks that attend Schubel Vision is, or that are maybe they want to attend, but they're concerned about cost, right? You know, what's the cost of the seminar, and what would be my ROI? You know, my return on investment. That's the big, you know, finance term. Would you say then, Jonathan, in applying just that one thing that you learned from the spinal screening master, Dr. Frank Hahn, would you say that just that one thing, did it pay for the cost of the seminar, or not really, or what happened?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, maybe, possibly, 1,000 times over.
Got it. Just one thing.
Yeah, and I think the truth is that, as I say to the students when we're talking to them, there is no point in sitting in front of a new patient and expecting them to put their faith and trust in what you are telling them, which, as we know, is not going to be some hallelujah moment. We're not the second coming. It is going to take time. We are asking our patients to trust us. Why should we be so foolish as to attend a conference and not put our trust in people who have done this, have applied this, and have made those changes? It astounds me when people go to conferences, come away and go, oh, I don't know, will it work? Trust the people. If you're going to ask the trust from your patients, put the trust in the people that are telling you. Do what they tell you to do, and amazingly, things work.
Well, you know, that's one of the sayings we have in the mentoring world. When all else fails, do what your mentor told you to do.
Yeah, it is that simple. Do as you're told, and it works.
It works, and you know that you're talking about, Jonathan, just one of the strategies that we taught for new patient acquisition procedures. That was the one that Dr. Frankie Hahn went over. We teach quite a few new patient acquisition strategies, and you know, this just in, I received a WhatsApp message the other day from one of the persons who attended Schubel Vision Barcelona, and this is what he wrote. I used one of Dr. Schubel's strategies of getting new clients ethically for the first time this year. So it's taken him a while to apply it, right? So he just did 30 minutes of well-structured work, and I signed up 10 new people of the 14 that were possible, counting the days till Schubel Vision Amsterdam, May 6th and May 7th. So how's that? I mean, for exciting. Again, it took this person a while to do the application of it, right? We're almost a year, but boom, one time, and 10 new people is certainly going to pay for more than pay for the cost of the seminar.
Well, one of
Jonathan, congratulations too. I love hearing those great results. If you could share with some of the folks what we taught, what we went over. Was it easy to implement? Did it come straightforward? Was it easy to understand on both sides? Me delivering it and then you implementing it.
It was so straightforward because, like I said, it was done with honesty and integrity. There was no witchcraft or any kind of surreptitious way of dealing with people. It was honest, fair, and straightforward. It couldn't have been simpler. Coming back and putting, and you were generous enough to share with us the materials and the tools, and even in some respects scripting of certain elements, so that we could make it our own, but implement the strategy straight away. And as I said, I feel more honest now. Not that I was intentionally going out of my way to seem dishonest when talking to people, but I kept tripping over myself in how I delivered and what I said, whereas now I was able to streamline, bring everything, funnel everything into a very straightforward, very simple system that meant that my time was used appropriately, my team's time was used appropriately, and we shared the message with far, far more people than I ever did in the past. And it was simply, like we said, systems, getting the systems right, knowing how to put those strategies into action, and having a framework that was basic and simple and straightforward to use, that you could straight away apply and get the best results from. And that's just through experience that you shared.
Right. I think the main point is organizing, getting everything organized, creating that structure so you know what to do when you first walk up, all the way through to when they're leaving. And
absolutely.
That's what people don't kind of put together. And we just created that system and implemented it. Now I've been teaching it for quite a few years, pretty much all over the world, with mostly with Liam at Schubel Vision.
It was phenomenal. And I was going to say just now, I've also got one of the chaps on our accountability group who was also at Barcelona Schubel Vision, and he's employed the dinner talks. And his dinner talk success is phenomenal. He again has been attracting a huge number of new clients in just from going out and sharing the tools that were taught on how to do that. I know that he's been doing phenomenally well. I think he's even coming to Amsterdam for a refresher to make sure that he's using everything that he picked up. Like anything, you go to events, you hear so many nuggets of gold. You want to make sure you go back to, you haven't missed any, because you get locked onto one thing and think, I'm going to do that, and you miss 5 other things because you were so busy in your head structuring how you were going to do it when you got home. So I'm so looking forward to going back and going over stuff to make sure that I'm honing my skills, honing my techniques to employ as soon as I get home again. Can't wait.
I'll tell you what, I went up to the Grady compound and spent a whole day with Judd, and we revamped the presentation and make it and deliver it even better. So I'm really looking forward to sharing that with you guys.
So looking forward to it as well. And just as long as your liver's prepared for Amsterdam, that's all I'm worried about.
Oh yeah.
The ambassador of fun has spoken.
They've got to have karaoke there somewhere. Sorry, carry on.
Yes. We're working on some kind of event there that we're going to do exclusive to Schubel Vision. You know, Jonathan, I just want to bring up one other point of, you know, we talked about the new patient acquisition strategies, just 2 of them that we shared, and the success that people are reaping from those strategies. The other thing that I find that surprises people, and maybe you could make a comment on this, is how much people don't know about, and when I talk about people, I'm talking about chiropractors, how much chiropractors don't know about the importance of communication in their office. And I see so many chiropractors that, for them, the level of frustration that they have in the office, because they feel like they're fighting with the people that are coming in, right? That they're trying to change a paradigm, but they just don't know how to do it. They don't know how to breach the gap of communication. The patient comes in with one idea, they have another idea. How do I bridge the gap on those 2 things? And one of the things that we really hit home with is the importance of communication. We bring in some of neuro-linguistic programming into that in order to really supercharge the way you communicate to practice members, so that when you're talking to them, instead of this, you start to see this, and that leaning forward, like, yes, I'm a part of this. Can you speak a little bit to maybe some communication strategies that you learned, or things that you're applying in your practice now, and that you've noticed that have improved the level of retention, have improved the level of internal referrals, et cetera, with good communication?
Absolutely. I think the biggest thing is at the start when you have a new patient arrive. Some of the strategies that you went through on greeting, how you talk to the new patient, how you can get to their level, spending that time listening. As you said, it's incredible how few chiropractors develop their communication skills and can spend decades in practice not knowing some of when you know are the simplest and most straightforward of techniques. And when you were going over the conversations with new patients during those early formative relationship building stages, just some very simple, basic understanding of how the patient's thinking and feeling, knowing that you can then come to the patient or the client on their level and then draw them together so that they are recognizing making those choices for themselves, because of guidance and compassion and understanding. And I think the difficulty is that with chiropractors, there's very much an element of, well, I know everything there is to know, and I'm going to tell it to you, and you're going to obey me, and why aren't you staying? Whereas recognizing that they've come in with their own understanding of what chiropractic is, they've come in with their own understanding of how, in their terms, health exists, crazy town health, I know, but their understanding of health. And it's not a case of saying to someone, this is, you're wrong, I'm right. All your understanding of health that you've come in with is wrong and is no use to the real understanding of how your nervous system and your body interrelates. But actually using their knowledge, their current understanding, and being compassionate towards that, because that's all they've known, and then employing tools and strategies that allow you to share your message without belittling the patient's understanding of what their health is. You guide and you can walk alongside patients so that they make hopefully better choices for themselves, which incorporates chiropractic, rather than saying you must do it my way. I think the biggest thing I took away from the Schubel Vision was something like the Schubel shuffle, the drop down to the knee, and meeting the patient at their level and recognizing that we are being invited into their world, and we have the opportunity now, which they have allowed us, to share with them our message. And we shouldn't take that opportunity for granted. It is a privilege and an honor to be able to step into someone else's world, share your wonderful message of chiropractic, and potentially guide them on a journey that can change their lives forever. That one small brief encounter can be the difference between them having a life of chiropractic and understanding of better health, or through an arrogant position of I know best, not being able to ever potentially serve that patient, or chiropractic ever serving that patient again. And I think that with Schubel Vision, that's one thing that I think many of us learned and walked away with, how important those first initial encounters are, and how to best utilize our tools of communication and our skills of communication to potentially change not only that person but their entire family and everyone they know lives.
Well, absolutely, and it isn't it. You find it's more fun in practice when you could communicate at a higher level, and that's what many people say to me. You know, Doc, after attending Schubel Vision, my conversions have gone up, my retention is up, my the level of referrals, the number of referrals I receive are up, and not only all that. I mean, that's great, of course, from making an impact standpoint. But you know what? I'm having a lot more fun. You know, I don't feel like I'm battling people anymore. I'm meeting them where they're at, and then I'm bringing them from crazy town to Cairo town, and I'm doing it in such a way that they actually, it comes from within them. It's their idea. That's what they want to do. It's not me trying to convince them. And you know, so many chiropractic practitioners, especially from the ones I've heard in Europe, is they say, "Gosh, I feel so uncomfortable trying to convince. I feel like I'm trying to convince people." And you know, that's, if you're using that term "convince," you're already on the wrong path. There's no convincing that's going on. There is an ability to communicate in a way where the practice member has that internal conviction that yes, this is for me. And it's I want this and I value this, coming from within them, not you pushing that onto them. And that's really the magic of communication that we teach at Schubel Vision.
I think with convince, it's almost in many respects. First of all, it's a very British thing. We're terribly British when it comes to that sort of thing. But it's a level of certainty and congruency with your own practice. That's, I think, where the idea of convince comes from, particularly over here in the UK, is that some chiropractors lack that certainty in what they're doing, that they almost feel like they're having to apologize for explaining to a patient courses of care and what really is for their best interests. Whereas the one thing I learned, which I had to learn rather quickly, having to book 69 new patients in, was the fact that you just tell them the truth and then they decide what they want, because that way you don't have to play the important part of trying to convert someone into becoming a chiropractic patient. I now have the joy of talking to patients, talking to new clients, telling them the truth and saying, and if you want to join me on my journey, come on, and if you don't, great.
That's exactly it. That's
Yeah,
exactly it. You know, I'm not the one with the vertebral subluxation, right?
yeah,
But I am the only doctor in the world that's highly trained to detect, analyze, and adjust it. So this is
absolutely.
what we do, and I am honored with the ability to be able to serve you. When you want it, I am here for you, and I will give you my 110, 150%. Totally right on board, Jonathan.
I'm
And that,
being
that's
honest
one
in
of the
saying this.
great things that we notice, and we see that too in our office, Jonathan. We schedule so many new folks, and we have that luxury. If they want something different, or they're looking for something different, or not what you want at that moment, they can go do that other thing. And there's plenty more other folks who do want it. So we want to focus on the people who do want what we have and not what we don't.
Absolutely, and also getting the opportunity to say this is what we do and this is what we don't do. And if you want what we've got, awesome. In my wellness induction, my introductory class when patients join us, I finish by saying I sell grapes. I sell the most juiciest, most plumpest, most delicious grapes in the world. But right now you might want cherries, and that's awesome. I don't sell cherries, but if you want grapes in the future, I'm your man. And it very, very clearly says, this is what I do, this is what I offer. If you want that, awesome, join us. If you don't, you might want it in the future, which is great. You know what I do. Come back and see me. But it gives patients
Doesn't
that
that make you
confidence.
feel? Doesn't that make you feel great?
Awesome.
Because now you don't have to. I call it sell chiropractic. You look for teaching moments. You're teaching and educating. We paid a whole lot of money for our education, and we need to share that with the folks. So we're not selling chiropractic, we're teaching chiropractic and the benefits.
And the beauty there is when you get the patients and their families, you know that they understand why they're there, and you know that when they're referring people, they're going to refer people with a full understanding of what you do. All of those fears of, I've got to explain chiropractic again. I've got to. It's another person. I've got to start afresh with. You're never starting afresh because everyone's coming pre-screened because of the efforts that you put in at the beginning, which are the tools and strategies that were learned at Schubel Vision. So it's a self-perpetuating cycle.
One second, Liam. I know you want to jump in, but that is another great thing. Thanks for bringing that up too, Jonathan. When the folks are coming in from the community event, they are coming in for the right reasons now. They're not coming in for the wrong reasons, so it's so much easier when they're in your office to share what chiropractic is. Many times you attract people, other chiropractors, when they're not doing these strategies, you're attracting for so many different reasons, and then you say, okay, well, once they're in the office, I'll convert them. Well, that's not what we're doing. They're coming in for the right reasons in the very beginning. And here's how you know they're coming in for the right reasons, Jonathan. You already just said it. They're bringing in their family members. Once you bring in your family members, you know the other person's getting it right away, because there's no other reason for them to bring somebody in unless they understand it, especially their children. So I really love the style, the organization, and the structure of what those community gathering events bring to our office.
Yeah, Frank and Jonathan, great points on that. And you know, Frank, you talked about not selling it, and I love that, because many cases around the world we see a prejudice towards American chiropractors. This idea that our American cousins are capitalists, or you know that we're going to do it. This is a hard sales, money-oriented type seminar. And I think, Jonathan, you've expressed very beautifully that that's exactly what it's not about. It's actually empowering people to communicate chiropractic in such a way that it creates value for what we do. And when we do that, there's that internal drive of the practice member to want to move towards us instead of away from us, want to refer to us instead of not refer to us, want to sign up for care rather than go and do something else. And that's not sales. This is not a hard sell. You know, we're not going to teach you how to sell people. We're not going to teach you how to convince people. What we're going to teach you is how to educate people, but this is important. Educate them in a way that they move to take action, and that action is the action that's going to make the impact on your community. That action is, yes, I want chiropractic care. Yes, I value chiropractic care, and I'm happy to refer people here. I'm happy to pay for my care, and I'm happy to tell other people about chiropractic care. So you know that's the power of communication combined with mindset, and then to have these different strategies to bring in new people. Because hey, Jonathan and Frank, what does it really matter if you are an expert in communication, you've got your mindset down, if you can't get new people into the office, what's the point? This is all a theoretical, explanation of how things should be in a perfect world. So we kind of bundle those three things up: mindset, communication, and new patient acquisition strategies. And of course, bundled in with all that is higher conversion, higher retention, and higher levels of referrals in the office. And I got to tell you, a lot more fun.
Absolutely, and I think when you put all those things into action and you get the types of clients and patients you've wanted all your professional life, the greatest thing overall is the relationships both with the team, because you now all work together using strategies that work and you don't have to be banging heads against each other, but also greater, stronger relationships with the patients because they are on your journey. It is now their journey, and you are privileged enough to be on it with them.
That's right.
So as opposed to where I felt in the past, and I'm sure many other chiropractors have felt in the past, that all the way along it feels like there's a slog going on. You're constantly having to keep pushing the patients. It's no longer a push, pull, or drag. It is a gentle walk alongside one another along a journey towards greater health through chiropractic.
Exactly. That's exactly how it should be, and that's what we teach at Schubel Vision, the strategies in order to create more abundance in your life and in your practice. That's what we talk about. Let's close this out, Jonathan, with a final question. So again, I'm sitting in the audience. I'm on Facebook right now. I'm watching this program on YouTube, what have you. And I'm considering maybe Schubel Vision Amsterdam, May 6th and May 7th, 2016. Or you know what? I'm going on SchubelVisionWorldwide.com and I'm checking out the website. And again, I've heard what you've said. I've heard what Frank said. I've heard what the Schubelnator has said. I'm still a little bit concerned that this is just hype. Why should I go to the seminar? Could you just tell me what is the reason that I should make it to this seminar and just forget about the hype? Why am I there? Why do I need to be there?
You need to be there because you need to trust that your inner voice, your innate intelligence, is telling you to be there. And why would you not want to be there? The ambassadors of fun from the UK are going to be, but you're going to meet people who are like you, genuinely care for the profession they're in, are keen to do and be the best they can be. And I think that if you've got the opportunity and you've got the means and you've got the aptitude to get off your bum, get off Facebook, get signing up, come and join us and just have a really wonderful experience where you're going to come away and go, I am so glad I made that decision.
I can tell you that to be absolutely true. You come to this event, Schubel Vision Seminars, and you will leave saying exactly what you just said, Jonathan. I'm so glad I took the risk, right? Because a lot of times we don't like to take risks in life. But I'm so glad I took the risk because now I've learned the tools, tips, and strategies that I need to create a bigger impact in my practice, in my financial level, in my enjoyment, in my personal relationships, and of course in my practice of chiropractic, in my communications levels, my new patient acquisition, my conversion rates, my retention rates, my referral, all the stuff that I hear chiropractors complaining about. You have the potential to change, but you have to take the first step. You have to make the decision to take that risk and go to Schubel Vision. I know if you do, you're going to be sitting here. We'll be interviewing you a year from now, and you'll be saying, "Oh my goodness, Jonathan was right. I should have listened to him a long time ago and gone to Schubel Vision seminars." So, Jonathan, I appreciate you sharing of your abundance and your story with us because I know without a doubt this was a great interview, and I know that anybody with a brain that is watching this interview is going to be at least thinking like, gosh, maybe I should really take this chance and go to Schubel Vision and make this year and the year that's coming and the rest of my life so much better by learning from people that are not just talking about it, we're actually doing it. We're making it happen.
Right, it's a pleasure to have chatted with you, and I hope to see the people watching in Amsterdam May 6th, 7th.
Thank you, Dr. Jonathan Clarke from Cornwall, or where are you? Saltash
in Cornwall.
Saltash in Cornwall in the UK. I want to thank my good friend Dr. Frankie Hahn, the spinal screening ninja, who of course will be doing his presentation for us in Schubel Vision Amsterdam, May 6th and May 7th. And Frank, how can people get in touch with Schubel Vision seminars?
They can just go right to the website, schubelvisionworldwide.com.
Very good. Okay, we'll see you all on our next interview, and thank you so much, everybody, for sharing your time. And again, you know, one of the things I often say is the bigger the vision, the bigger the life. We've given you a vision of what your life could be. Take the action now, and let's make it happen. Love you guys, appreciate you, and thanks for watching this Schubel Vision episode.